So after all this time, it turns out that it was Fourth Dimension Fall Killer's laughter in our videos. Like, what does he want with us? Well, I don't get it.
He sure screwed up last week. I was really surprised because I thought it was like mysteriously happened to our videos, and now we're just like, Fall Killer's been not revealed as the leader.
Exactly. Bully Ray.
He's still. I just really don't know what's going on.
I don't know where he wants with us, but we do have Terminator NJ in this room right now. You can't see him, but he's there, and he will be giving us some kind of promo or something after the review, at the end of the review. So maybe we'll get something there. I don't really know, but he says he has something to say. So anyway, let's just forget about this for now. Let's just go on to Impact for this week's edition of Impact with a British Fist. Mr. Parkin here, wearing my "Didn't I See You on YouTube" t-shirt, which I've been wanting to wear for quite some time. And this guy sitting next to me, he looks like Bruce Forsyth. It's none other than NJ, people.
What's up?
Nice to see you.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Bruce Forsyth, FTW. Subscribe to us, comment your thoughts down on the show in the comment section down below, and like this video if you will.
And please make sure you do me two favours. Number one, please make sure you contact us, and the link's in the description box below. And number two, join our live stream this Sunday. We'll be talking about Wrestlemania.
That is the main talking point of the wrestling company, of the wrestling companies right now. Join us at 10 till 12 GMT. Not sure what that is in American time. We'll let you guys convert that. 10 to 12 GMT live stream about Wrestlemania. Now that's out of the way. Let's go on to Impact. We open up the show with Hulk Hogan, who talks about how Bully Ray fooled everyone. He singles out Samoa Joe, Magnus, Kurt Angle, and Jeff Hardy for leading the troops to war, saying they are essential in the fight against Aces and Eights. And we get Jeff Hardy mentioning a #1 contendership match to try and get the belt back for TNA between those four guys.
Two things I want to say about the opener. We get to see this brief picture of Bully Ray and the Aces and Eights. But the thing about this statement right here, right now, is that I normally thought when it comes to a champion losing his championship is an automatic rematch. But with Jeff Hardy, the one who should automatically get his rematch, is wanting to be in a #1 contender match instead of getting his essential #1 contendership rematch.
Indeed. I think what they were trying to put over here is the fact that they wanted the best man to go into war for the title, which is why they made this #1 contendership match. They alluded to many times during Impact that the winner of this was going to be deserving of the title shot and was going to be the man to lead TNA into war against Aces and Eights. So that's why I believe they did that. So a solid opener, setting up the main event of the evening, which, you know, Samoa Joe, Magnus in the main event, that's not necessarily a bad thing for us, is it?
And for Samoa Joe, who was involved with the tag and in these matches against the Aces and Eights, now in the main event scene once again, can't complain. Magnus, after lockdown, he's been still involved, or he's still rare on the shows, now in the main event scene from where he's been in the past few months. Yeah, this is a good thing.
Wet Dream Team versus Los Stereotypicos for the Tag Team Championships. As per usual with Aries and Rude, it's a pretty solid match here. Yeah, I liked Hernandez's little ramp move that he does where he runs along the ramp and kind of takes them down over the ropes. I think that was pretty cool. I found it interesting also that the crowd were booing when Chavo did the Three Amigos, but they were cheering when Austin Aries was setting up for the Brainbuster. I think it kind of shows you where this Los Stereotypicos tag team really is with the crowd right now.
Even though, like I said many times, it's sad that people are turning against Chavo because of his legacy, his family, and plus he's a good talent. But obviously he's not been as good as they thought he would be. But the other team, the one that's been there the longest, main event, and got the crowd behind them, of course they're going to get cheered. Quick thing about this match, yes, last week it didn't happen because of the Aces and Eights beatdown. Now we're getting this involvement here, but we all knew which way this was going to go.
We pretty much knew what Dream Team was going to win. I mean, that was quite obvious. You had Kaz and Daniels interfering, allowing Rude and Aries to win via distraction. So it seems to me like Kaz and Daniels have been watching videos on YouTube, us, Fall Killer, the Off the Road Show, etc., who obviously know that we want to see not Los Stereotypicos, we've seen that now. We want to see Bad Influence versus Wet Dream Team at Slammiversary for the Tag Team Championships.
This match is going to be big, great promos building up to Slammiversary. Yes, it's heel versus heel, but I don't think that's the matter. I think it's the crowd reaction, which is going to be superb. It's going to be the build-up. It's going to be the fact that we've got great performers here, apart from Kaz, who's just doing the job to many people.
And
this
Daniels
match,
as well.
Daniels is better than Kaz, but this match, I think, is the moneymaker for the tag team division.
Indeed, it is the moneymaker for the tag team division. It almost reminds me of Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns in the Best of 5 series they had. But anyway, you've got Kaz and Daniels who draw great heat, and Rude and Aries are getting cheered quite heavily, so you could even class them as tweener/baby faces. So we got new rules for the X Division this week. Dixie Carter tweeted this a while back saying we're going to get new rules. The new rules state that all matches are going to be freeways despite the already depleted division. There's a 230-pound weight limit. It's gone up 5 pounds. Wins matter. If you lose, you are out of the title picture. And when you lose, you need to face 2 new contenders to actually get back into the title picture again. So it all seems rather complicated, would you not say?
Some of the rules I do like. The weight limit, they keep changing it every year, so I don't really care. The losing, they have to go through normal contender. At least I'm getting my normal contendership matches. And so it looks like they're trying to make it important, but the triple threats, haven't you really got that much X Division wrestlers to have different every few weeks?
Well, we'll see where these new rules go. I'm willing to give this a shot because judging by what we got in the next match, Zima Iron, Sanjay Dutt and Kenny King, it was the triple threat matches. If all the triple threat matches are going to be this good, then I'll be all for the triple threat thing that they put in there. This was a match for the X Division Championship, the first match under X Division new rules. Kenny King pins Sanjay Dutt. No real surprise there, really. So apparently now next week, Sanjay Dutt is going to be facing 2 more new #1 contenders to get back in the title picture. I just wonder, where's this talent going to come from? Because the X Division is very depleted. I know they've had an all X Division pay-per-view. I'd hope they signed a couple of people from that possibly to fill the void.
I'm just looking forward to the X Division. Hopefully, Dixie's actually planned this through, the X Division to come back. But because of there being triple threats, are we really going to see big X Division feuds?
Yeah, that is one thing. Are we going to see big singles matches? Not really now, because they're all triple threats. But Kenny King is the champion. That is all that matters. A highlight of the night for me, and I think for many people, was this whole thing they were doing with Bully Ray, talking us through how he became the World Heavyweight Champion and the president of the TNA. And to be honest with you, the way this was presented, you kind of look at it and you think, you know what? They did a good job here covering their bases, in my opinion. There was a lot in here that did make sense. I mean, at least now I know from this storyline, which I've hated for a long time, at least I now know, looking back at it and what they've done and how TNA presented these 5 video packages to us from Bully Ray. At least now I can look back and say, well, I don't like it, but at least it made some sense by what they did.
Well, this is one thing I do like. This dragged up the whole history
9 months
to where they are, which is good. Yes, obviously, if you can work out this stupid worthless faction, you can work it out perfectly, as someone would say. But the point of this is that the way that they did it, Buddy Ray in the dark kind of promos, cutting it, really bringing up the heel Buddy Ray again, going through the history, going through the build, going through the point where they're at now. I can't complain, and this gives us, 1, the Buddy Ray that we all miss, and 2, good promo work and good video stuff going towards the final.
Yeah, and to be honest, this was really needed. I liked how they went through it logically. You had the plan A through Bully Ray, saying how he wanted to win the BFG series, and he made Storm the scapegoat so Bully Ray could get the wins. He called Bobby Roode to get him to interfere in the No Surrender match with James Storm. At No Surrender, he couldn't get the job done against Hardy. You know, this was some much-needed explanation as to what was going on, in my opinion. He also talked about Plan B. After he didn't win the BFG series, he had Plan B. Talked about how Doc and Knox were the muscle. Garrett and Devon tried to help TNA, but they had their backs turned on, which is why they joined the Ace and Eights. Hogan turned his back on Anderson and Wes Briscoe, which is why they joined the Ace and Eights. Didn't really get an explanation for Taz. D'Lo was obviously the inside guy. Bully Ray talks about taking a couple of shots for the team and how he wanted to get Hogan's respect so he could get into the title match. And then blah-de-blah-de-blah, the marriage. We kind of knew what all that was about. But we didn't really have any explanation as to why the group kept losing and really wasn't looking like any threat, really.
I guess the losing was an accident on the Ace and Eight's behalf. They were meant to win, but they never did. But the way I see it, even though we've got this great explanation, I still wish Bully Ray said, I'm the champion now, I'm going to kick you to the curb, get lost, get out of here, I'm the champion. But at least this was something to actually give us the Ace and Eights a reason to continue.
And it's very funny, actually, to think that all this time, they were actually going after the world title, but it was kind of hidden from us in a way. We didn't really know what was going on.
Especially when we went for the TV championship.
Rubber Devon. So this was pretty good. We needed some explanation here, and I'm glad TNA actually put some thought behind this and actually put the video packages they did together. 5 parts. They're all on YouTube, by the way. Go watch them. A very interesting backstage segment between Hogan and Sting. I really felt, Hogan and Sting usually have good backstage promos together. I liked how he called out Sting on staying in the rafters, and he pretty much told him to fuck off, didn't he? He just didn't want him there anymore.
And this, I'm hoping it cancels down to be then just one GM. I still wish Sting took over, but the breakup of two, let's say, long-term friends in TNA, what's it going to lead to? Not a match. But I do want to see where this is going to go.
And just by what Hogan said at the end, when Sting said he wanted a piece of Bully Ray, and he said, so do I. From that, I'm hoping that TNA aren't laying the groundwork for a Hulk Hogan Bully Ray match at Slammiversary. I really hope they're not going to do that. I really do.
My knee said he hurts. Hang on.
He's had the surgery to repair it, brother. Anyway, we move on to a Terrence Terrell promo while on probation. The segment was pretty much all based around this Gail Kim Terrence Terrell feud, which has been teased for quite some time now. Yep. You have Gail calling out Brooke Hogan to fire Terrence Terrell, who terminates her, but then gives her a knockout contract instead, meaning that we finally have a new knockout in the knockout division. And then Terran pretty much explodes on Gail Kim, not in ways you guys are thinking, though.
And even though that his Terrell character is basically what you knew she was eventually going to get this, and number two, she's a typical, a good looking to the fans knockout. Probably not the best deep knockout, but at least it's someone new.
Yeah, that's what I was like. At least we have someone new and we can have some fresh feuds. I mean, even a feud between her and Gail wouldn't be bad at this point, so I'm glad. We also had that little moment where Bully Ray came out to stalk Brooke Hogan, saying that they're still married and death do us part and all that. That was a nice little touch to the end, especially with the Bully Ray video packages during the show.
And people have said maybe that Brooks should turn on her father to bring in more interest in this, but at the moment, yes, it could happen to make something more to this feud between Bully Ray and Hogan, but right now, I think they're going to steadily build up to Slammiversary where the next big thing is going to happen.
And then we had Matt Morgan versus Joseph Park, the match which was announced last week, and I don't care what people say. This was fucking awesome, man. I love this promo. I love this match between these two. I mean, I guess the Joseph Park segment really, the Joseph Park character really does help this, but the thing is with Joseph Park is, much like Fool Killer said a couple of times on Twitter, he doesn't need to win every match. So you can have him lose to a Matt Morgan. Matt Morgan will get his heat, and then Joseph Park will still have his face heat because people want to get behind him.
Even though the Joseph Park character has not really got direction, like this match in particular was more about Matt Morgan's thing going against Hogan, taking out all his wrongdoings. For Joseph Parks to play a part of that, I think that definitely shows that Joseph Park is going to have more involvement in the future.
A fun segment overall for me because of the Joseph Park character and the fact that he's just pure awesomeness in my opinion. Next up, we had an interview with AJ Styles, which was done by Mike Tenay. Kind of came out of nowhere. Sort of didn't really build up to this, but hell, we got it anyway. You had Taz taking over the interview halfway during it. It was kind of trying to bring him to the Aces and Eights by the looks of it, wasn't he?
This thing about AJ, I think obviously maybe they know where they're going to be going, especially with this James Storm feud, but this whole heel talk to a possible heel and bringing out AJ's darker side, I think it's all about the build work, the way how we're going to convince AJ's this probably new heel guy going against who should be a top face in James Storm. The
main thing for me right here is this AJ Styles character is really interesting. It's new, it's refreshing. And the thing is, throughout this interview segment, he was silent. He never said a word. He never moved. He just stood there, looked at Mike Tenay, looked at James Storm. You had James Storm coming out who stood up to AJ, talking about how even with his back turned, that he, blah, blah, blah. Typical James Storm promo. You have AJ Styles leaving after James Storm issues a challenge to him. A mysterious AJ Styles. I thought this was, again, another pretty good segment, not just for character development, but also for storyline advancement as well. So I thought this was well done, personally. Then we get to our main event of the evening. The four-way match to determine the number one contender to fight Bully Ray of the Aces and Eights for Team TNA. Jeff Hardy versus Samoa Joe versus Kurt Angle versus Magnus.
Well, I went into this match, what I want to quickly say is that because of last week, I was looking more at Kurt Angle. I thought they were teasing that quite strong last week. Maybe the fact that this is happening and Angle's involved, he was going to win. But at the same time, at the beginning of the video, I did say that Jeff Hardy should have got his rematch because he lost the championship.
I mean, as you expect between these four, it was a pretty good match, pretty good main event match. Got plenty of time. It's funny how the crowd wanted Angle and Joe. They didn't really like Jeff Hardy. I noticed how there was a couple of boos from Jeff Hardy when he won the match, but I think it is logical to have Jeff Hardy win, as he does deserve his rematch, even though he won it this way. And I still think he is the top babyface in the company, so he should be going after Bully Ray. I just wonder, are they going to have this match on Impact? Are they going to build this up to Slammiversary? I wonder what they're going to do with it with Slammiversary in June, which is 3 to 4 months away.
I do look at this and think that out of all the four, I was leaning a bit more towards Angle, because Jeff Hardy I don't really care about. Samoa Joe, as much as I'd like to see him be champion, he's not really had a tease against Bully. Magnus, he's not had credible wins really. And Kurt Angle obviously being the guy he is. But I do think now we've got Jeff Hardy as the number one contender, how are they going to gain our interest with Jeff Hardy back in the title scene, going up to Slammiversary?
It's going to be very, very easy, because Bully Ray, quite frankly, everyone now hates because of the swerve he pulled on everyone. And I'll apologise if I've been a little bit non-punctual throughout this review. I just can't help but be a bit nervous when he's in the room. It just makes me nervous. I don't know why. What were your overall thoughts on this edition of Impact Wrestling this week, NJ?
After a fair few weeks following lockdown, probably before lockdown, I was saying I'm finding TNA really boring. Oh, yeah. With this now, I'm not saying it's because of Bully Ray. I think it's just the week overall with the tease of the future. We have new things coming in. I really believe that we're going to go in a stronger direction. Yes, there was like too many title matches. We had the Ace and Eights not really doing much apart from Bully Ray, which obviously it should be about. He's the champion, he's the president. But overall, it's a much better week. Yeah,
I thought this was probably one of the best impacts for quite some time. Like you said, the new direction that TNA is going in does look really interesting. I mean, you got Bully Ray now as the leader of the Aces and Eights, and we've had an explanation for that storyline. The tag team title feud could be very interesting. AJ Styles' his new character, Joseph Parkin. They got all this other stuff going on in Impact, which, quite frankly, was a lot more interesting, especially the Aces and Eights, from what they did with them this week, or what they did with Bully Ray this week. It's a lot more interesting than what it was previously. So I'd say right now, Impact Wrestling this week was a very good show, and I hope that they continue this momentum going into Slammiversary. So I've got to give TNA a lot of credit with the show this week. They backed up their stuff with the Ace and Eights, and we got some very interesting characters and storylines going forward.
Shut the fuck up, British Fist! I have something to say. Buddy Ray, you think you had a promo throughout the night explaining about the Ace and Eights, and your involvement in it is going to tell about you. Well, that ridiculous FaceTime has seriously messed you up, because now people cannot believe in you until you prove yourself. You made it a TNA champion, but you did not become a champion on your own. That worthless faction had to get involved. Believe me, Bully Ray, if you want to prove yourself, step face to face with me, and I will show you the real bully is. Now, last week, we had Thor the Fall Killer reveal himself as the one who's been laughing in the British Fist videos. Worthless mortal, you would be man enough to get involved in the videos, cut a promo on the British Fist, those worthless mortals, and me. Oh, believe me, the best is still yet to come. Till next week, for the Fall Killer.